Oh, you saved your seat. Right up front. Yeah.
Am I presenting?
This isn't church. You're allowed to front row.
You're special.
It's right.
All right, it's 7:01. I'll go ahead and call to order the May 3rd.
Can we have your attention?
Regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Education. I know I need a bell.
Fine, you would gavel.
If you all would take a moment to silence your cell phones and/or pagers. Ron, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just please call roll.
Johnson.
Here.
Sandra Proctor.
Here.
Nate DeSantis excused. Jeremy Scott.
Here.
Colwell.
Here. We do have an amendment to
Yes,
the
President
agenda.
Wales, I would like to move under special business approval of the FDLA trip right after the staff and student celebrations. And then I'd like to add the FA National Convention approval because they're leaving state as the next item. So I'm moving one item and adding an item.
We have an item B and an item C under celebrations.
And they are.
I will move that we amend the agenda as requested.
Second.
We have Reverend Scott, a second by Dr. Johnson. I knew I was going to do that. Second by Director John to move 7C under Seg 2, relabel B, and section or subsection C. Did I get that? That sound right?
You got it.
I think you got it.
Any additional on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same thing. All right. We have an amended agenda. I now seek a motion to approve that. Amended agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Director Peter, a second by Director. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have an agenda. Do we have any citizen comments on general
No,
topic?
President Wales, we do not.
Agenda item? Okay. Let's move into this exciting time of celebrations and recognition.
Well, President Wales, members of the board, I try to get emotional, but we have 119 years of experience in Weld 5J of some teachers and staff members here who, okay, they're all, that's right. Thank you, Mr. Benson. And it's my favorite, it's a bittersweet time for me because these people have contributed to the education of our children, supported our community in so many ways. And I'm thankful and so proud and sad to see you go, but glad to see that you are going to do another chapter in your life. So what I would like to do is talk about them a little bit tonight. And you'll see retirees, soon to be retirees. We have a special retirement bell for you. And that when we call you up, we want you to come up. And if you've prepared a speech, you're welcome to say your speech. And then the would like to congratulate you. I also want, let's see, is there that special something that's in honor of our retirees, boy, were we honored to have Reese bake this special cake. I'm scared to touch it. It is congratulations as you round out your career and roll into retirement, and it has Dana's name, Angie's name, Marlene's name, Frank's name, Robert's name, Terry's name, and Chris' name. And so this is an official meeting, but we can have cake. So we'll run that.
Do you know why that is?
Why is that?
Meeting without cake is just a meeting.
Well, we've been having just a lot of meetings there. So,
Can we get a resolution?
so board members, if you'll come around, don't ring any bells yet.
Not yet.
And if bells ring, that means you actually get to retire. And I would like to start with someone who worked in the district since 1997. And since 1997, she has been dedicated to the health and well-being of our students and staff. She was the wellness person before wellness was the buzzword. And I'd like Marlene Clark to come on.
Yes.
Every school, and is there any wonderful stories you tell in a public meeting and report?
When we started, there was 4 schools and 12 kids, so we've grown a lot. I'm really excited about the new nurses that are coming in and taking into the future, but it's grown a lot. It's a way different. And then COVID hits, and then that wasn't so fun, but I think teachers are great, and it was exciting to open new schools. If you're going to open a school and then you're going to change another school, it's just exciting. It is.
I think how she personally helped me big time last year when it was my year's interim, and you came and took over more of Hogan's responsibilities. So thank you very much. And I believe we have a bell.
Okay, and if it doesn't ring, that means I have to stay.
Congratulations. Yes. We have someone here today who's been with us for 10 years. And he is one of the individuals, the first staff person to see our kids in the morning, and also last staff person to say have a good evening. And is Frank. Where is Frank? Allen. He didn't come? Let's talk about him. Okay.
He doesn't get a research.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's with us for 10 years, and he actually retired back in
November.
And JJ, anything you want to say about Frank? He's on? Oh, well, let's ring his bell. Hey, for Frank! I do see another person from transportation. Sherry Rudder, come on up. Sherry was extremely good hire, and we got you from another district. I have to say we stole you from another district. Has been with us for 5 years. In the 5 years, he's made a huge transformation in transportation, from buses, from safety, security, from routing, you name it, done it. He texted me in the middle of the night and said, "Karen, have school today." So, Terry, anything you want to share about this wonderful last 5 years, especially that part, the facility you get to live in?
Yeah, that's no, I just like to thank everybody that's there and supported me. People in the transportation center have been great. Everybody's been to work with. Everybody's quiet is there to work with. Just like to thank everybody.
Thank you very much. And I think you've got his bell. Make sure you. Hey. Now, my next retirement Reed. He's been since 1997. He's not here tonight because he's getting ready for a program. He has been at Pine Ridge teaching kindergarten through 5th grade. And you think about how many of those recorders he has gone through with 3rd and 4th graders. Also, you think about the kids that have the wonderful good fortune to have him as his music teacher from kindergarten through 5th grade. 6 years of music, and the tremendous amount of experience he's brought to us, and we're gonna miss him. And so Director Sassano will present Bell. And so let's give Mr. Johnson a round of applause. Okay, Mrs. Burke. There she is. Angie has been with us since 1987 at all of the Milliken Middle.
Yes, I even started now.
Wow. Did you go to high school?
Lupton.
Oh, well. When I found the right class. Okay. Anyway, Angie has been at the middle school as a PE teacher, health teacher, coach, athletic teacher. You have seen thousands of students come away and made such a ripple impact in the classroom and also as a coach, helping them learn those life skills and just bring a joy in life. I love coming into her classroom. I'm going to miss you. So, oh, congratulations. And anything else you want to ask?
I don't know, it's kind of like wherever, like decisions that you make changes your whole time. I went into a PE class at UNC in this huge auditorium. And I'm like, I'm gonna sit by. And I sat at local Johnstown, Shea Corrigan, sat by her. That led to playing volleyball, which led to teaching and student teaching, and one thing just led to another. So it was one fateful decision that day that everything else.
Thank you for your, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Oh, sorry.
We can,
You were in high school, perfect.
I was there.
Okay.
Were you those gifted learners?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Let's go to the high school. And this teacher came to us in 1996. And this teacher, you think about the skills that she had to have to teach 2 completely different subject areas of choir and drama. Dana Atkins, come on up. What did I miss? Golf, choir,
That's it.
drama.
Drama, yeah.
But you think about the thousands of students that are in the way. When I went to one of your concerts, I was impressed with all soloists. And for you to inspire kids to stand on a stage and sing by themselves, it's inspiring to me. And did you start with that same microphone set you still have?
Sounds like it, so.
Thanks so much for all you've done. In the class, on the stage, out on the golfers. Anything you want to share?
Really, I think I've done over 100 concerts. I was out doing the marathon. So my next one is the last one, and it's next week, so it'll be sweet, but super excited, so.
Thank you again for all you've done.
Sorry, you gotta ring it.
Thank you.
We got-
Okay, what key is that?
I know.
You told me.
Yeah.
Finally, we have the ultimate professional. Mrs. Vickers, please come up. Mrs. Vickers has been here since 1987. And has it always been at Roosevelt High School?
No, 13 years at Milliken.
Oh, Milliken Middle and the high schools. And you've seen chalkboards, you've seen whiteboards, you've seen textbooks, you've seen iPads, you name it, you taught it. And has it ever changed much?
No.
So binomial, still a binomial? Okay, I'll stop there. Thank you so, I think thousands of students whose lives you've impacted, and some of our students that got beautiful scholarships have told me that your class made the difference in helping them get that higher score on the SAT and helping them that next step to get into or to skip a math class. So what do you want to share tonight?
I guess to oversimplify the job, because educators have a lot to do. My focus has always been to prepare students for what's next for them. The next math class, more education after school, career, just life. But I can't do that alone. No one can do that alone. And the support I've had from districts, administration, colleagues, family, I will remember countless students. I will remember memories in classrooms that have happened, things that have happened. But ultimately, it's the relationships of the supported people that makes it hard to work hard.
I understand completely. Thank you. Okay, does it work? Okay. We should have set that one with paper. Yeah. Now, we need to have a picture of our retirees after their bells, so don't go too far. With the board. One more.
Checked out.
Am I gonna stand for so I don't cover it?
Thank you. One more round of applause. President Wales, this concludes the board celebration for me for right now.
Okay.
We're gonna congratulate a team in a little bit, but we can do that during that's an amendment we made.
Okay. Well, my mind's on cake, obviously.
Oh, so Lisa, want to help us with that?
Yeah, how do we want to do this?
How do you want to do it?
Well, I know President Wales would like to eat some cake. So if we slide cake up and we pass it out,
Yeah.
Does that work?
And so do we want to do the celebrations then while we're doing that?
However you
Or
want
do
to
we
do
want to
that.
take do we just want to take a little recess?
How about a little recess?
Let's do that.
Okay, let's eat cake.
Okay.
Right, eat cake.
Hey, she can do it the fun.
I know.
I didn't read it either. Well, they were in order. She said order. So that's up right. There's one aside.
It's really cool.
Oh, but she set the one aside. That was from the first side. Okay. What's the case you're talking about?
That's the only one I had. When I was in eighth
That was really.
It looks like eyeliner.
Thank you for doing that. I don't know why that I would love to leave. And y'all have Please come and have a seat. We're gonna reconvene.
You doing good? Yeah. Oh, are you still? Oh, yeah. I thought my brother said you were. Good luck. Yeah, now you got it. You got to pick up the second.
Take care. Look at this good food. Where is the Are we still on? Oh, okay. We'll go get. We'll go get
You're in the know. Good question. This is delicious.
It is very good.
Not every student comes with cake, by the way. So
Well, let's not be too clear.
historically, not every. I want to start a new.
President Wales, I think we're ready to reconvene.
Okay, is Bryson back there? Are we even going? I can't remember what the colors are.
We probably have been going this.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, blue's right.
That's fine.
And
Yes. So real quick, that cake was sensational. Risa, thank you very much. I hope you're.
When you have to bribe us to come to the retirement.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Thank you guys for helping serve.
We are ready to move the agenda item for their FBLA approval of their trip. And we have Mrs. Peterson here along with a few students to talk about the national convention and ask permission for approval. And they are here to answer every single question you have. Okay, Mrs. Peterson.
Good evening, Mrs. Flair, President Wales, and members of board. I'm Sabrina Peterson, advisor of RHS's FBLA program. FBLA is a student-led organization, so I am going to let our leaders take it from here.
Mrs. Tressler, President Wales, and members of the board. I'm Yelin Chavez, and I'm a current sophomore and president of the Roosevelt High School ELA chapter. We are here tonight to ask for your permission to travel over to Atlanta, Georgia from June 26th to 1st to compete at the FBLA National Leadership Conference. We would also like to ask for a financial contribution from the board. At state conference, I had the opportunity to run for the officer position for the 23 to 2024 school year. The selection committee chose me to represent Colorado FBLA as the District 1 state officer. This position means I will be attending countless meetings. My first one's actually tomorrow, contributing my opinions and ideas, and also Roosevelt will be hosting the district conference this year. This year, we had 7 of our members attend districts at UNC, 43 of which qualified and attend state leadership conference, which had over 3,500 members attending 3 days at the Gaylord Hotel in Denver. Each event had between 30 to 45 competitors. Thanks to their hard work and dedication, 15 of our members have qualified to attend and compete at nationals in Atlanta, Georgia this June. FBLA has made a large impact on my life and taught me skills like public speaking, interviewing, working, and collaborating with others. These are skills that most people don't learn until their late 20s. FBLA has also impacted the rest of our members. Kelby Emirati will be introducing our national qualifiers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kelby Emirati. I'm one of the officers in FBLA for this chapter. I will be introducing our national qualifiers. First off, we have Natalia Sauer. She is not able to be here tonight, but she placed first on the state championship in public speaking. Next, we have Kaylee Palicho, who is tonight. She placed second in future business educator. Next, we have Galen Chavez and Annabelle Rusco. Team, we placed second in introduction to event planning. They are here tonight. Next, we have Hayden Bruce, who placed second, and she placed in introduction to FBLA. She's here tonight as well. Next, we have myself and Marlo Abrahamson, and we placed third in graphic design. Lily Leal is next. She is not here tonight, but she's third in networking and infrastructures. Next, we have a team of Sean Gibson, Peter Holly, and Anthony Shuffler, who are here tonight. They placed sixth and moved up in e-business. And next, we have a team of Takumi, Kevin Schwab, and Pacey Walker. They seventh in business plan and moved forward national leadership conference. Each one of our national players put in countless hours to perfect and perform and have succeeded in leading to the national leadership conference. Thank you.
2 weeks ago, I stood before the board as a member of the Roosevelt girls basketball team. I was called up to give to my teammates and coaches. If you had asked me to do that 2 years ago, I would have been terrified. But to even my surprise, I was able to walk up there confidently, speaking from the heart. As I sat down, I stood and I thought, it finally came to me how much FBLA has impacted me. FBLA has given me the confidence and courage to do anything I set my to do. I believe it is very important for students to join an organization as important and as amazing as FBLA. FBLA teaches young individuals hard work, courage, and confidence, whatever they set their mind to. Now, Haley Palachicho will share our fundraising efforts this year.
I'm Kaylee Chicho. So throughout the FBLA year, we've had a variety of fundraisers. Some fundraisers that we've participated in here are sports concessions, Christmas tree recycling, Egg My Yard. We've also sold Suggs cookies and cinnamon rolls. We've had a gap night and a calendar fundraiser. We received a handful of corporate sponsors and we're seeking out more. Our members have worked tirelessly to raise funds to reduce costs to our families and needs. Next up, Ann will breaking down our budget.
So, hi board, my name's Ann Resco. I'm one of our chapter and district offices here. As she said, I'm going to be breaking the budget a little bit. So, each of our students for this year has contributed about $600 each with costs for state, districts, and between buying clothes and everything else. As you can see from the budget, it costs approximately $1,570 for each student to a national conference. Through our fundraising this year, our chapter will be contributing $6,000 towards these totals. Mr. Benson will be paying a registration fee of $3,750, and we're going to use $7,000 of our CDIP funds. Chaperones will cost around $3,680, and we'll make it so families are responsible for paying under $75 of the cost and any other variable expenses that may arise. To reduce costs to the district, we are having people carpool to and from DIA, so no transportation needed on their part. We are requesting that the district funds a portion of the trip's expense, including our chaperone. And with the chaperones covered costs, reduces our cost to $4,205. As Kaylee said, we will continue to seek for sponsors, but we wanted to see if the district is willing to cover our chaperones as well as the remaining shortfall. I'm also available to answer any questions if you guys have this time.
Very nice.
Yeah, great presentation,
Yes.
guys.
President Ailes, we will be, we will pay for our chaperones to make sure. We want the adults there.
I'm so sorry. Did you say it's in Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah, so it's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
We'll be staying at the West Peachtree, so it's a short walk from that hotel to the conference center. And yeah, other than that, we'll just be using public transportation around the city, which has already been purchased. So.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And we're good, like, he never makes eye contact with me. We gotta come up with like some batter signals.
So is the cost of the rooms inclusive in the $1,755?
Yes, it is. So it's included in that. And then we gave you guys each of the budget. So if you want to see all this expense, where these expenses are going, it's broken down on that as well.
So it's 3,700-ish because the district's gonna cover the chaperones, because you won't be adults there. So that's the shortfall for the chaperones.
Yeah. And so this short does cover all 15 members who are qualifying as well as you guys paying for the chaperones. So.
Oh, looks good. What do you guys do last for fundraising for the trip? There was some.
Yeah, we did, last year we did give backs, we did the calendar, we've repeated a lot of the fundraisers because they've been really effective. Last year we also, what other things did we do? Oh yeah, we had corporate sponsors, so A&P were able to sponsor us.
Good.
So it was a lot, and then a lot of it was like, again, people selling the calendar squares, things like that. So members had to fundraise a lot of that before we came to you guys, and then yeah.
I'm curious, and this is coming way out of the left field. We've been on tours of the new high school and looking at some of the spaces that are going to be available for the business classes, FBLA. I'm thinking specifically the little cafe area with the area to sell some
merchandising room will have a direct.
Yeah, are you guys kind of rethinking along those lines? And
we've actually been discussing that we would like to get involved with that franchising, so we'll have that funding next year. Other schools have element where they're selling merchandise at football games, coming games, other things like that. Yeah. So that's also we're definitely going to look into in the future with equipment we have at the new high school.
Yeah, that's super exciting. And not only because I'm guessing that Marlo's wearing your graphic art.
Yeah,
board.
Chloe and I made this for our design event.
Okay. So I mean, you guys are. I mean that those tools in that facility can be used to help with these projects.
On the profit margin, because you're not going out to and paying an upcharge. Doing it in-house.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and source more of it within RHS, like our RHS merchandise being made RHS students and organizations.
Right. Yeah. No, that's so exciting to me. I'm super excited about it.
Exciting to me too. I was just about to ask about it, but you got there first. So
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, the only other comment I'd make, so a couple of you gotta kind of work with you prior to the state thing. I'm glad to see that you guys are moving on. After I left that night, I felt confident that you guys are going to do really well. I think you did. So this is one of my favorite times is when the FBLA kids come in, because it's going back to what you were saying. The ability to come into a room like this and be able to talk and have a great conversation. I mean, you guys are just, you're a step above everybody right now, and that is just so awesome, and it just, yeah, warms my heart, so.
This budget we're looking at right now, you guys together?
Yeah, so this was put together by Ms. P and our officers, just kind of breaking down what things are gonna cost, so we know where these going, what we're needed, and again, what families are to pay, what we'll need corporate sponsors to pay, things like that, just so we're able to share that with people, so.
I spend a lot of my life asking people for money. It's actually a big part of what I do. But I mean, this is very well done. So I want to say I
Well,
appreciate
we
it.
need to give credit to Michael because he created this. After last year, this is beautiful. It made it so much easier. So we can't take credit for it. It was nice to listen to Bill.
Well, the detail is much appreciated and all of that. And honestly, highlight where, you guys yourselves have already done the raising and the individual contributions you're making so that, we feel like we're with you in this and that you guys have, done that we get to come and kind of sit out. That's a good feeling for us. It's always, we ask people for money. We want them to feel good. And I do. So that's a good thing.
Who made the comment about public speakers not getting the experience until they were in their 20s? I argue that you are so above a lot of 20-year-olds that I've heard public speaking. I've shared it a little bit with the board, but FBLA is dear to my heart. I went to college on an FBLA scholarship, so anytime FBLA is for money, I'm like, give it to them. Give it to these kids, because I'm so proud of your accomplishments and at the levels that you're competing and the confidence that you have all shown tonight. I think it's wonderful.
I wish we were sending more like we were last year, but I'm glad we're not having to pay for it.
Yeah, and like we said, competition's been insane. All went district, state, and now nationals. So it's been definitely narrowed it down for sure. It's been a lot of hard work and dedication to get. So
who went to nationals this year? Oh, so almost.
Most of these kids are freshmen, by the way, so we've got some years ahead of us that I'm very looking forward to.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And there's an international component there too, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So FBLA has groups from China, they have some from Haiti, they have, I think they have one in British Columbia. Mexico has one. So yeah, it's just kind of really cool. The National Leader Conference is one of the greatest ways to network. Like I met people from all different states and areas that I would have never otherwise met. That was one of the coolest things to see, like going outside of our small town and just seeing how big that scale was. Because there's about 10,000 students who attend nationals each year. So it's crazy to see everything come together.
Is there a competition beyond nationals?
So nationals, you can place at nationals, usually cash prizes for the winners. Like I know a couple of us were able to win last year. I won, Peter won, and we had a couple others from and then they did. And so yeah, you make it to finals and then finals, and then you can place with it, and that's kind of as far as you go. But yeah, we had a couple national champions last year, so we hope to do that at the high school level this year.
Cool. Awesome. So we do need to take some action on this?
Yes.
All right.
You entertain a motion?
President Wales, I'm going to go that we authorize $7,155 for the FBLA net trip.
Okay.
Reverend Scott, a second by Director Proctor to authorize $7,075 for the FBLA National Leadership, for the FBLA team to the National Leadership Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. Any discussion? Further discussion on the motion?
We just want to see how you do.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll come back and give you guys an update. We're excited though.
Yeah.
Bring cake.
Oh yeah. We'll
Cake is now required.
Thank very well, appreciate
I
it.
think if Reese is unavailable, I think we just need a cake baker right there in the audience. Yep. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Jessica, would you go ahead and hold board?
Monica Johnson?
Yes.
Amanda Proctor?
Yes.
Jared Ock?
Yes.
Michael Whale?
Absolutely, yes. Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Go get them. Okay, next.
That was B.
Yes, now we're going to go to C, the addition to our agenda tonight. We have some state champions in the room from FFA who are also coming to talk to you about a national trip. So Mrs. Z is here.
Hi, yeah. So my name is Jasmine Zuniga. I know we've heard a couple of times with some different kids. I am the acting Roosevelt High School, and sorry for kind of the late addition. We had our state contest Monday. We got home at 10:45 Monday night with our state champ meat judging team.
Right there.
In the meat contract, there was 36 different teams competing. We had high team overall, we had the high individual overall, the second individual overall, and then my two girls were top 15. So we were pretty excited about that. At the contest, there was 1,500 students from 106 different chapters across the state of Colorado, so pretty exciting. FFA rules are a little bit different, so unless you are the top placing team, you have to compete at nationals. So they'll be competing against other teams, which are the top teams from the other states, and then Puerto Rico, should they bring a team. They are pretty excited, but our hotels come open on May 10th, and if you're not on the registration website at 4 p.m. I'm open, there are no hotels left because of the number of students who come. So we wanted to get added in and really celebrate the hard work that's been done. We're working on encouraging them to help themselves out, but they're not always so good at it, so I gotta brag on them when I can. They have some stuff prepared for you, so here you go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to say, before I get started, I'd like to introduce ourselves. My name is Rilyn Hannigan, and here's the rest of my team. I'm Ariana Castro.
Miley Gutierrez. I'm Rhiannon Bowler.
And for those of you that don't know, I know she just said we're the state champion meat judging team, but meat judging isn't very well known like FBLA or other events. So we have a series of events that we go through, state and district and local level. We usually have a written test, and then we also have a math test. And then when we're not on paper, we actually get to go into the coolers and look at hanging carcasses and identifying different cuts of meat. And then we'll have placing classes where we have to rank different cuts of meat in order from best to worst. And it's a very intimidating process, being that we do have specific attire to wear so that we're safe for other consumers to come in there and make sure that we're contaminating the meat that's good to a consumer. This is a really special opportunity for us because, like Ms. E said, the number one team gets to move national competition. And after this, we're not able to compete in the meat contest again at state. So really, it's a really great opportunity for us to gain some knowledge and experience, or we can't gain it here in Colorado. More knowledge will come the national.
So real quick, so never you guys can't field a team for.
Can't repeat.
So us four, we cannot at the national level, but we can still enter another team of 4 brand new kids that have placed as well as we have at state. So
And you can compete in a different event.
Yep. So we could all move on to different CDE teams, and we could also potentially place there and move on to the national contest, a different contest. But we're not allowed to compete at state or personally in the meat judging contest.
What meat do you judge? Is it beef or is it beef and ham products or?
So we judge beef, ham, and lamb. We do horses or chicken or any sort of poultry sort. There's a lot of legislation around that, so it's just the mostly popular beef, lamb, and pork.
Did you bring any sense?
No, we didn't.
So you're talking about pride and choice.
Yes, so there's quality and yield grading, so we look at a specific number of carcasses and we grade them on their marbling, also grade them on their fat percentage on the entire carcass. And then we also have placing classes, so we'll look at maybe a class of ribeye steaks, we'll take a class of ham rounds, and our phrase that we like to go by is fat class. From the standard, if you're buying a steak, you don't want a whole lot of fat on the outside because you're going to be paying for more of the fat than the actual red meat that you're eating, and it's money down the drain. So we just identify different parts of the animal, different parts of the meat, where it's consumer friendly and cost efficient for the consumer and the producer to profit off that.
I have 2 questions. One, often when you go to the grocery store, look at something and go, those people were full of it.
A lot of the times I go to the grocery store, I see something labeled as like a center cut, like a center cut steak, something. They're lying to you. It's definitely probably not from the actual one from the roast. They say that to try and make possibly trick you into, like, oh, this is from the center, it's gonna be more extra special. There's not very many things that are a true center. There's a center slice, center roast, and a center rib roast.
Okay, second thought, can I have you? Actually, we buy ours by like the half of the quarter. We're gonna have to take their word for it. You're like, yeah, and usually it's been fine, but I
can tell you some good places to get half the quarter. I only cannot.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry.
Your said that you have a written math test and the physical vision view of it. How was weighted in your competition to get to state?
So our main component is going to be what's called retail ID. So they usually is around 30 to 40 different people meet. We have 1 full minute for each, and we have identified what comes from, where it comes from, also like the chuck, the roll around, things like that. We have to identify what it's called. So if it's a T-bone steak, we have to say that it's a T-bone steak, and then we have to identify the method. And we have points to do that, and that's where most of our points come from. The math test is for putting your different parts of around the hatch. I call it easy points because I'm math, but I know other students that compete contests struggle with that because it's not simple just together and subtracting different costs. A lot of consumer ideas. So the written tests really aren't that heavy in comparison to all the rest of the points. They really do affect your score. If you mess up the math test or if you mess up the written test, it'll really make a difference in that.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I will pass it over to.
Hi. So I'm going to be talking about our agenda. We are asking for overnight stay from October 31st to November 5th. We not only have the opportunity to go compete at a national level, we also have the opportunity to go to educational tours throughout the whole trip. Leadership, like workshops, whether that be with previous state officers or our state officers here or national officers. This is super cool opportunities we get down there that we wouldn't get up here. There's also college fairs with admissions and students from colleges all around the U.S. They will help you apply to the colleges, and they tell you a little bit about all their programs and all their things you can major in. State or national convention is a huge opportunity for us because most of our FBA members don't get the opportunity with us just because we go if we have a state win team, or that's basically it. And this is like huge for us because we won our meets contest, us 4 girls, and we're gonna go compete at a national level. So let's pass the budget on to Miley.
Sure, why not?
Wow.
All right, guys. So, okay. Okay, so here we go, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. Our total request for the cost would roughly be $6,973. That would go toward like the registration and like obviously the hotels and
chaperones.
Yeah. That would go towards like our 2 advisors, so Ms. Z and Ms. Hopkins, and the estimated total per person would be around $978. So yeah.
Do you guys have any questions about the funding?
No, not as, I don't. Where are you guys this year?
Yeah, we're.
So as of right now, they've stopped rotating national convention, so it's in Indianapolis.
Okay,
And part of the cost is a rental car, which they don't have as much information because we just went on Monday and they've probably been sleeping as soon as they get home. But in Indianapolis, there's obviously not a public transportation, one, and two, we have to travel to a meat processing facility outside of Indianapolis. It might come as a surprise to you that people don't like facilities in their big cities. So that's our only transportation method there. We will be staying in a hotel in town so that for their awards and everything, we won't have to drive, but we will have to get a rental car for there too.
I was picturing carcasses hanging in a ballroom, so.
No, lucky, their big processing plant up their doors for us to let all of the kids in, and then they get to tour and see what kind of facility it looks like. So.
This is just a random question. Would either of you girls like to make a career?
well, I was gonna say the same thing. If you're planning on studying meat science in school, after college, or after high school?
Meat judging is like, can follow us into college. I'm interested in doing it through my year of college. It's not something I would say as a career, but it's something that could lead up to my career. I'm planning on becoming a conservation officer, so a game warden, and it's ag, so anything I could get my hands on with ag, I'm going for it.
I'm definitely during my college time, but then also even maybe past that. My family's been in the butcher industry for many, many decades, and it's pretty much bled into me to be good at this, which has been shown. But it's really interesting to me because, you know, my family, they've grown the cows, they've butchered the cows, they've made a profit off the cows, and I think it's pretty interesting to be able to judge the cows that, you know, they once were able to grow. Raise, I guess, would be the better word. I think it's interesting, so I've definitely considered it being a career for myself.
I would definitely try and do meat judging throughout college, but I wouldn't do it as like a career. But I would like to do something with ag related. So, well, yeah, I'm just seeing how that goes and works out with this. I'm also thinking about doing it through college, but not as a career. I'm thinking about being a zoologist, so going far away from.
A really cool thing that they maybe haven't articulated as well, want to like make clear to you guys. So the reason that they're talking about doing it in college is because that's something that I was able to do collegiately, my junior and senior year of college at CSU. And I got half my tuition for my junior year and my full tuition paid for my senior year, just through judging.
Just through judging.
Yep. So there's a lot of scholarships in there, as a lot of people say, right? It's who you know. So there's a lot of networking in that community. And I got over $80,000 worth of scholarships just for meat judging, which is pretty cool. And then our top individual got a $1,000 scholarship to CSU, and our second high individual got a $500 scholarship for CSU as a sophomore junior. So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've been around meat like you basically my whole life, and that's from being producer to the production side of things to the marketing sales. And just listen to you guys talk. It's hard to like, and I don't mean this as an insult. It's like you're high schoolers. Like you're not supposed to know much about the industry that you do, and so it's so impressive. It's so impressive. They should make you guys state channel.
They did that.
I like that. I grew up in Eastern Montana. Cows outnumbered people 10 to 1, and I'm just gonna say, like, so beef is deep in my veins, but probably mostly made it at this point. But no, I think this is fantastic and amazing, and I'm sure everyone's aware of what awaits you in the fall at the new school, or at least somewhat. And this is one of those things that we've been doing a lot of tours for all kinds of people all over the place in the community, and it's really fun to tour people through the new ag, especially the new plant and animal sciences areas, and then be able to say, and by the way, these are going to be used and used well. You know, let me tell you about our FFA. And so, like, that is the most fun thing, and it's the same really for the FBLA when we tour all the new areas and everything to know this is not pie in the sky. These places used, they will be used well by the things we were already doing. So this is just more improvement. So, you know, helps us when we celebrate with the community why they're spending $200 million on buildings. So you are, that's thank you.
How many do we need? We said about $7,000.
$6,793.
Okay. I make a motion.
He's got, kind of got a weird look on his face. That's the
69.73.
Oh, got the thumbs
That's a
up.
very obvious signal, thank you.
69.73.
Oh,
That's what I have.
69?
69.73.
Okay.
69, is 69.73 accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'm going to motion to approve funding for the National FFA Championship team in the amount of $69.73.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Director Proctor, a second by Director John to approve funding the FFA State Championship beef judging team, or was it beef judging or meat judging? That meat judging team to attend the national competition in Indianapolis. Any discussion, further discussion on the motion?
I like pig too. That's good. I'm glad.
All right. Jessica, would you please pull the board?
Monica Johnson, Amanda Proctor,
Yes.
Jeremy Scott,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. All right, congratulations.
Thank
If you guys have any more questions about the national convention, since we are here, I would like to propose permission for an overnight trip for the state convention down in Pueblo, which would be June 5th through June 8th of this year.
I don't think we.
You do not need to ask us permission here, but you need to ask Mr. Benson.
We
Okay.
shared that with him too. We just wanted to make sure, because they'll all get recognized. There's no cost for you, but.
Okay.
Yeah. Only if you're leaving the state do we have to approve it.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to double check.
No, appreciate it.
Yeah, so that,
Benson, you want to vote?
that was an interesting.
Motion to. And someone second.
Yeah, move that Mr. Benson is ordered.
So when you guys come back from National Spring Samples?
We'll have to invite you. CSU's invited us to do some like carcass fabrication over the summer to kind of just learn more about the part.
Awesome.
I'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah.
Or we can bring some, put them to the test to see if they really know us. I'm up for that.
Take out of your freezer.
Yeah, I got a lot in my freezer. I'd be curious. Actually, I'd be really curious. I'll bring some.
Pretty interesting to figure it out.
I'm like, this is what they told me it was. Tell me what.
All right, guys, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, students. All you need to get home and finish your homework.
Yes.
Thank you. Wonderful, as always. Go take care of that arm, that elbow.
Sorry, I just recorded it.
Yeah. I think you were more excited than those ladies.
Yeah,
I was very
She was
excited
trying,
for
she
them,
was
yeah.
trying. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Scary just watching. I know, and they were
You're on the ball.
so
It'd be
excited.
stereotypical, but like, are there a lot of all-girls?
No, we're the
Like, I
only
mean-
all girl there.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want to be like rude about it. I was like, that's
Yeah.
it.
It makes my heart happy. Yeah, and it's a pretty big deal that they're just sophomores and juniors. Most kids compete for 4 years before they get to junior.
That is
That's
so
amazing.
amazing.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Good work.
Thank you.
getting contentious.
I know.
Yeah, nice job.
Thank you all so much. Have a great evening. Thank you.
You didn't know we were so talented, did you, Scott?
I've heard rumors.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I get to see it. Before we conclude celebrations, I was gonna say, so this past weekend we had the Wellco Championship.
Oh, yes.
Which is it's a bragging rights anymore, but I mean, back in the day, that was the big track meet was Wellco Championship. And Roosevelt dominated. And I mean, when I say dominated, I mean landslide point totals in both varsity and junior varsity, both boys and girls track. First place, Wellco champ. Second year at the school is gets to take off. And so what's happened is we have all the Wellco teams have pitched together and built a trophy that it's like the Stanley Cup. So They add the name to it, and then it goes home with whoever school wins it that year. And so they bring it back to the championship every year, and everybody gets to look at it, and then it goes home with whoever wins. So it's kind of turned into an event. But there were almost 1,000 athletes there this year, 980 athletes.
I was in the morning and it was so fun to see. I saw some high jump, some relays, discus.
Yeah, I saw you across the track, but I wasn't gonna, there was so much running that I wasn't gonna try to get across.
A fun morning.
Yeah.
I bet we can find a nice place for that.
Yeah.
They were already talking about maybe next year it's gonna find a new tracks somewhere nearby. So that would be great, because that's what that's gonna be built for, is to handle that size of a meet. So.
Whatever Roosevelt's feeding their athletes, they just need to keep going.
And I mean, so and when we talk about WELCO, I mean, we're talking about every school in Will County.
Yeah.
And that includes, Greeley Central, Greeley West, Northridge. I mean, traditionally these were, the powerhouse schools that we went up against. And I mean, Roosevelt crushed everybody. I mean, crushed them. So very good. We might have a state championship track team or two coming to visit us in the next few weeks. So. Any other staff and student celebrations? All right. We're gonna have a long meeting, I think. We'll go to reports and comments from board members.
I had the opportunity to go to the senior capstone presentations today at Roosevelt High School, and we were able to talk about it briefly. And it is so encouraging and inspiring, and I was just so proud of how the students were able to present, the way that they made eye contact and were able to explain their projects. I felt that everyone I listened to just knocked it out of the park. I was so with them. So that was a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah, that's what I got to do in the past 2 weeks too. It's amazing how many people are in there though. It was crazy. So many. It's that kind of support is really.
Yeah, the first time I went to it, I don't know what I was expecting, but then I walk in the room and I was like, that is not what I was expecting at all. That was not on the list.
It's crazy. There's so many people.
Anything else? Felt like I had something, but I don't remember what it was.
You went on some tours.
Lots of tours.
We did a tour last week with a really nice article about it. I hope people saw that, and I got some really good feedback. And
I was back and look at my calendar to see what I did, and if there's anything upcoming.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff upcoming because it's May, which is like intense with schools. There's so many.
Call it the new December.
It is the new December. It's
Yeah.
like there's so many things to do. I think tomorrow, like I'm double booked, and I gotta figure out that. But
Right.
we're at the very beginning of it.
So I think it is. I apologize. Sorry, I'm just double checking. I know there was something else I wanted to talk to you guys about.
The grant thing, best grant.
So yeah, before we end, we will.
Does anybody who's planning to do the awards night at the high school? That's on the 10th. Senior awards night.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen
Sure.
that. I was
I
gonna
think
go.
it's the 10th.
I was gonna go to the MES art show tomorrow, or try to.
Yeah, I've gotten
Double book for that and
couple
take you away
of
tomorrow.
emails about
Yep, senior night is the 10th,
seniors, right?
or senior awards.
I don't know if they were inviting me or just telling me it was happening. I suppose I didn't really, I just assume I'm invited to everything. What are they gonna do?
You
Kick me out?
are.
But no. Well, I just wondered if any of us, I was hoping to go.
What are in the upcoming 2 weeks? What are some of the few highlights? I know there's the There's art show, PQA has night, you said the senior awards night. There was the,
MMS has their art gala.
do they, what name is
That's
that?
on the 8th.
It's on the 8th.
And then there was a concert, we could have a,
Oh, yeah.
this afternoon.
Yep.
She was saying her last concert is next, what night is that?
You can get on the, there is something every night for the next,
Yes.
until
It's
June 1st.
Very intense.
Yeah.
I know I wanted to mention to you guys, so on the 17th of May, there's gonna be a little legislative wrap-up tour. I don't know if you saw that email from Casby. That'll be over at Windsor's, forum. And that's in the afternoon. That'll be, so on Wednesday, that's Wednesday, will probably be the day that CCAP will announce all the finalists for the best grant, and the funding will probably be shown. So, but as we kind of talked in the work session, probably a good said we just need to show up and present and make sure that all boxes are checked, and we're probably going to be good. State Pack will be that week, starting that week too, starting on the 18th on Thursday, and then we'll run through Saturday. And then of course, you guys all got the notice from Karen about graduation. We want to plan to be there a little early. I will just say that is, that's Dave's big event. So we take orders from Dave that night. He's the boss. We just fall in line where he wants it. But it's always a good time. So.
Otherwise, one other thing, I don't know if everybody gets the emails. Was it Casby or was it Tracy Rainey that the one out about the funding bill?
Well, Tracy Rainey's been sending out a lot of stuff.
But there was one that I think it was Casby who had a link that you could email your the local representative about supporting the current school appropriations bill.
SB 23-287.
I think I forwarded that to everybody.
Yeah, I think you did. So I did that, and I did get a response from their aide, and he said that the representative for our area has not decided how he is going to feel about that. So it might be good for us to, if you were so inclined, to chime in as well, and to support that. You know, the numbers on that are pretty helpful. Still doesn't get us where we should be, but that helps. But we definitely come out on the better end of the current bill.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else? I thought there was something else.
I feel like there's something else.
And as soon as you get into your report.
I start talking, the superintendent's report's very big tonight. I want to talk to you, update on the potential boundary change from the elementary schools that I'll be bringing forward at the next meeting. Jessica sent out a follow-up email for me that asked for questions, concerns to the same group of people, and we heard 9 different families, and we're following up with the people. Most people are saying, just let us know when it's going to happen, if you're going to grant their students and families, and whether they're what the next steps are. So I appreciate your attention to answering parents and families' questions. We had a one-on-one presentation available, but so far nobody's, they want a phone call back. We're following up with those, so that's going well. I want to also highlight that Michael Evers and I went to Milltown Council last week for a work session to talk about mainly Cash and Loop with some questions and concerns they had. And it is always to get with another entity to listen and learn and hear suggestions and learn together. So thank you. And we'll continue to move forward. And then finally, I also want to talk to you about Dr. Krill from Milliken Elementary School, and just a beautiful thing that happened last Friday. We had an elementary student who decided not to go directly home, and mom was wondering where the young man was, And so it took a community effort from school officials, from Dr. Krill, Mr. Plas some teachers, social media, the town of Milliken Police, and we were able to find that young man. But it highlights there the vigilance that our community has and what I call a true partnership, that when we need to get together and get a solution and find a young man, we do. And thank you. Thank you for your extra efforts on a Friday evening up until 6 p.m. I think it was. So thank you.
Was he at a friend's house or something?
He was at a friend's house.
That's a scary situation.
It was very
Yeah.
scary. Okay. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
All right, any
Did you
questions?
think he could?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
It'll come to you.
Probably lions. My dad always said when it's on, probably was a lie. Not that we're a lying kind. So it's probably just a little disclosure on it. We'll move on to our consent agenda. Adopted rules of parliamentary procedure provide consent agenda listing several items for approval of the board by a single motion. Most of the items listed on the consent agenda have gone through board written recommendation. Documentation concerning these items has been provided to all board members and the public in advance to assure an extensive and thorough review. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member. Otherwise, I entertain a motion.
I'll move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Reverend Scott and by Director Proctor to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any questions? Hearing none. Jessica, would you please call the board?
Monica Johnson,
Yes.
Amanda Proctor,
Yes.
Jeremy Scott,
Yes.
Michael Wales.
Yes. We will go on to our own business.
And President Wales and members of the board, with this revision of our revision of KEC, Public Concerns Complaints, we tweaked it a bit to make sure we everyone knew that residents of Weld RA5J or families that a student in Weld RA5J are able to file a concern or complaint. We have not had any other questions, concerns, calls, Mrs. Kramer, Ms. Diana. So we are ready to move forward to have a second reading and approve this policy amendment.
Questions from the board?
I think I mentioned at the legal thing, a lot of interest in what we're doing, so I can, keep a copy at hand, because
And I sent our policy to 2 other Weld districts who wanted to see it.
yeah, I think it's good work. Thank you. I know it took a little to get it all finessed, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Policy is what we do, so we should do it well.
Jinx, I made a Coke.
Oh, you already got cake.
Yeah, I think it's fairly clear right now what this is for people.
Yeah.
It's an issue.
Yeah, should clarify things, a lot of questions that I think that policy should be.
I think it's very
interpretation.
I think it's very constructive. And that's what's
Right, well, you can go ahead and approve these with motion, these changes to KC.
I'll motion to adopt the amendments to policy C, public concerns about teaching methods or presentation.
I have a motion by Director Proctor, a second by Reverend Scott to approve or to adopt the amendments policy KEC. Any discussion on the motion? And none, Jessica, would you please call forward?
Monica Johnson,
Yes.
Amanda Proctor,
Yes.
Jeremy Scott,
Yes.
Michael Wales.
Yes. We're rocking and rolling here, aren't we? Moving to our special business, our first item is the approval of the CHIPS resolution.
And Chuck's here to follow up and tell you the details for the next 2.
Good evening. This first resolution or action item is, we did the same thing last March for, I think it was just Howell, so it's a approval of a code CHIPS resolution which is our kind of green initiative that we have to put under best and follow, and it's a resident on sustainability and the design instruction of high performance schools, which we're have already been doing and are a lot of that effort, but that's just continuing forward. The reason we need to bring this forth again is the CHIPS Collaborative High Performing Schools program has come out with a new version, so the version 2 of that resolution.
Well, as we discussed in our work session, I think CHIP standard has been a really good one for us. I think that was a good recommendation to use it. I think it's proven good.
I never get to say this, there's no cost already.
Sold. Is there anything in particular between the differences of the drafts or what we approved before, or is it just?
Probably the biggest differences are some, there's a little more language, some reporting metrics about here's things you need. If you put these in place, then you report back to our place.
I think this is always good to keep in front too, because people ask, a lot of all this stuff, and well, how do you know? I'm like, well, this is just another one of those accountability systems that's put in place for these projects that make sure that we're doing things the right way. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I like that we're reporting it to things that helps few projects down the road have some more metrics and understanding to help future schools be awesome too. So it's just broader than us.
Yeah. Schools are awesome.
Oh, they are. Everybody else has got to get there. That's how we have to share information. They can come along with us.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and move to approve the CHIP president on the design and construction of permanent school buildings.
Second.
I have a motion by Reverend Scott, by Director Proctor to approve the CHIPS resolution. Any discussion? Hearing none, Jessica?
Monica Johnson,
Yes.
Amanda Proctor. Yes. Jeremy Scott,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. We'll move on to our next item, which is the approval of the AMP design build amendment number 3.
This is our, as you know, we've been approving portions of the GMP. This is our final to get us the GMP of 39.4 million. Right on our, right where we were aiming to have this land within our budget. We did have a meeting last week to review this GMP with AMP. The one thing we did add back at that point was the VA, which is an antenna system that first responders use. So we decided to include that in the budget because of a recent project in the last 5+ years of ending mandatory. You can't measure for it until the building's done. So it's nice those dollars parked and allocated rather than waiting. It's about a $70 cost. So
And it's mentioned in the building?
It's within the structure of the building.
Okay.
And it, as from what I've been told, is they survey the building, but you have to be done before you can survey it. And a lot of the modern glass and stuff really blocking radio transmissions is apparent compared to the old building. So this GMP is in the amount of 0.9 million. And as I mentioned, that we've already roughly 34 million. This gets us to that 39.4 million. I'd also mention that within that, at the AMP site, in this GMP, we'll have a 980,000 plus construction contingency. With the move we made to get this, we were about a little over 1.5, we in a high 1.4 million under contingency. So we're going this with good contingencies. I'm happy about that. It is a renovation project. We've talked in the work session. Those can get a little nasty. So I think we're in a good position to move forward with that.
All right. Any other questions or discussion?
I have a question, just because I'm thinking back to the section discussion about moving a 1960s concrete, being surprised about more asbestos. The part demoing, can you remind me the approximate age of that original part?
It's all 1967. Okay. And we've got a different, what we don't have is a 1950s building with a 1975 addition. And a complete change of the mechanical heating systems.
Right. Okay.
So I'm optimistic there, but it'll still That's all why we have a general abatement contractor involved, actually even on some of the demolition, and we're starting to approach the function slabs. They'll be actually a part of that process to remove some soils for regulations. We'll at least be staged and ready, but I'm more optimistic here. And effort was a bit of a shock, the amount of stuff that I've seen there.
If we are successful in our best grant in the future for this project, just be looking at an additional amendment to account those down.
Yes, yeah, we would.
Because that's scope.
That will have scope, a lot of scope, and it will still have discussion and prioritization. A lot of the scope matters that we outlined and kind of set the top are building envelope. So, adding in roofs that we can do, windows, and then also number of canopy units that are. It would be better if we could get those refurbished or replaced to just a longer life for the district.
Good priority.
All right, any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion on moving forward with this.
I will move to approve the EP Design Build Amendment number 3 for the Roosevelt Middle School project in the amount of $5,938,007. No cent.
Second.
We have a motion by Reverend Scott, a second by Director Proctor to approve design build amendment number 3 for the Roosevelt Middle School project in the amount of $5,930,007. Any discussion on the motion? None. Jessica?
Monica Johnson, Amanda Proctor,
Yes.
Jeremy Scott,
Yes.
Cole Wales.
Yes. And I can sign those for you. Good job. We move on to our next item, which is.
Do you need to sign that? Can you sign?
Yeah, I can sign real quick.
Yes. This one we don't need, then I'll just get the resolution.
Okay.
On that, there were some, I can't remember, but there were some things we had to for us for processing the bond.
Oh, that's
we subtracted, just like K2A.
I was gonna guess that was, but I didn't want to guess.
I mentioned in my email, this information is spread out over a lot, so it was good to ask me those questions because now I've collected together after probably a year or so.
Yeah, no, this was perfect. Thanks for doing that. That was a lot of work.
All right, sir. Oh,
I'll split the book, maybe minutes and what. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you. This next item is Mr. Everett's almost favorite item because it is the word asset. If you approve this item that we're going to sell buses that we no longer need or they're out of driving capacity that we will bring in some type of funding. So, Mr. Everett, is there anything else that you'd like to say? Mr. Ruddy, I gave him his bell, so he's not here to give us the details. Anything else, Mr.?
No, I mean, just this is something that we, my 3 years here, we've done every year. I'm kind of passing on equipment for the district that is past its prime. Generally, I mean, I don't know the condition of these buses, but I mean, we really get between, to 5,000-6,000 for them, depending on the condition and who's on them. So, kind of clearing them out.
Do you know how many we have left? How many? Yeah, the legacies we have left, because I know we were trading out 2 here.
I would have to get with you on that. I don't know off the top of my head. No.
Yeah. I think the one thing that is exciting for me about it, this is the culmination of a promise because it's funded out of the MLO. And that was what we said. One of the things we said we need to do in the MLO was trade outs because we had an aging fleet, and so the new ones have been good and far safer. We have no unsafe bus, but I think far more reliable and far safer. So this is I like it because it highlights that we are doing what we said we'd do when we ask the community to invest.
I'm ready to move these things along.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move to approve the sale of the buses each end of life.
I'll second.
Motion by Director Proctor, second by Director Johnson to sell school buses.
Can they be used for tiny homes?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I was just gonna say, odds of
My
them getting
favorite
turned
thing.
into, odds of them turned into RVs, you know?
Well, we actually
Actually,
had,
the CT's looking at it right now.
well, we had, there was a community member who did buy one 4 or 5 years ago, and that he converted it into an RV.
See if you can propose that.
Actually, whichever's easiest. However, when I was, told you I bar, when I bought the car, the dealer was asking me when I was on a school board, he's like, oh, hey, I know a guy who's looking for used school buses. Do you happen to have any? I'm like, I don't know. So I can get a name for you. I don't know. I'm sure Gov Deals is great. But I'm like, that's a random question. Nobody's, of the, oh, you're on a school board, let me ask you a question questions I've gotten.
Yeah.
I think the best one though I saw was just years ago. And I don't know that it was one of ours, but it was in the area. It was a truck with the tilt bed on it, but it was built on a chassis, and they basically took like the last two of those to the back and moved it all the way forward. It was like it almost looked like a pink school bus, but it had that flatbed on it so they could load other vehicles onto it. It was really kind of cool the way whoever did the work. I mean, it looked seamless. I mean, it was a really professional job. But I was following it out of town one day, and I thought it was the guy who bought ours, but it didn't sign on the side that it was actually a towing company that owned it.
That's when I was in Alaska. It was portable salmon smoking.
Very
I
nice.
would go park it and fill it full of salmon and smoke it.
Like a Walmart parking lot, get your salmon smoked
There
too.
you go. Yes. Boy, I can imagine what it smelled like in there.
All right, so we do.
We're not slapping.
So you have a motion by Director Proctor, second Director Johnson. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Jessica, please pull the board.
Monica Johnson?
Yes.
Amanda Bird?
Yes.
Jeremy Scott?
Yes.
Mike Oshman?
Yes. All right, let's move on to some new
And
business.
finally, our new business, we have policy amendment for jail CDD and then the regulations that go with it for administering medication students. And Ms. Miller's here, our special ed director, who has reviewed the policy, and she can share highlights with us to why she's bringing this forward. So Mrs. Miller.
President Board, members of the board, or sorry, President Wales, members of the board, and
President Board on board.
Superintendent Trustman. I am proposing that we adopt this amendment to our policy for administrations to students, just as a fail-safe, to ensure that if we ever do have an overdose that requires Narcan or naloxone, help save a student's life, that we have that on hand. In the last 2 years, it's only happened once. I pray that it never happens again, but in an effort to ensure that we have it on hand and ready, I am proposing we add it.
Will it be at all, it sounds silly, but will it be at all school sites?
Will be available at all school sites. We were approved for free kits to come to our district, and I did ask for all of the schools to have available, so that way we can train our nurses, our aides, and I'm going to ask for building administrators if they would have one member be trained. As our SROs in the district already have them on hand. What we found though is that sometimes their supply is expired. So in an effort that we have current supply on hand, that is fine.
Will there be multiple supplies at the high school? I'm just thinking the size of that campus.
Yeah, so they, the state is willing to provide 2 kits for high school, it's for the middle school, which is nice. The kits are good for up to 18 months. When they do expire, we can just reapply and they'll go ahead and send us additional supply. Should the state still continue to provide that.
Is it not to get through the state, or is it not something we can purchase?
So currently we are going to state there are other avenues that we can explore if the state no longer funds it. With it being gracious.
Free's good.
We would like to continue.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think it's great. Unfortunately, the tragic and unfortunate reality, especially with fentanyl in the world. I mean, I have a friend whose ministry focuses on that whole thing. It's tragic all the time. So I know we like to think that we live in this bucolic place where this stuff doesn't touch us, but unfortunately that is not true. So good. Okay, all right. So so one of the things we're doing is we're clearing up the policy, basically says that we're allowed to administer.
I think the
Administer
only,
it anyway, I don't care what the policy says. Fix the policy.
I mean, it's a life or death issue.
Yeah, it's like that.
we had training at the public library, and I think the only hard part is the person you'd be administering to are unconscious at that point. And so you're guessing if they need the medication or not. You wouldn't know just by looking at them if there was another cause for being unconscious. With that being said, I think it's great to have, because through our training, from what my understanding is if that an overdose wasn't the cause of the student going unconscious, the medication is not going to hurt. I think it's something great to do while first responders can get there. But I think if you're putting yourself in a situation is if you're ready to administer it, it just makes it a little scary, because what if that's not the cause of the person you're administering to? That isn't why they're currently non-responsive. So, but I think the statistics are that it has helped throughout the communities that have the training and are issued, and so I think it's great to move forward, even if the statistic is small. If it's a positive thing, it's good to move forward with.
Okay, so this is out for reading.
So we'll bring it forward at the next meeting.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion on it?
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, thanks for working on this. Any citizen comments on general topics?
No.
No executive session. I will go ahead. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
May 10th, 6 p.m. is when the senior night awards are, senior awards.
Is that the high school?
Thank you, Mr. She sent me
And that's at the high school?
At the high school, yes. Auditorium.
All right. Anything else? It's 8:37. I'm going to adjourn.
Thank
Thank you, guys. Thank you for a moderately long meeting.
Oh, we had cake.
But
There's cake.